And they're doing land office business, of course,
Yes.
as you would expect.
So what did you find appealing about a brothel? What was it?
Well, you know, Taylor dragged me screaming and kicking. I remember looking, he said, we're going to go and we're going to spend the night there. And I went, no, I'm not. No, I'm not going to do that, darling.
No.
I'll read about it, I'll look at it on the internet, but I'm not going to go and spend the night in the brothel. Read my lips. No.
No way.
They said, yes, you are. So guess what happened? So...
Is it always the way it works between you and...
No, not necessarily. But he was right, and
Yes.
I knew in my heart he was right. I was just frightened. I was nervous, you know. So we went, and we went at about 5 o'clock, and the minute we walked through the gates, you know, so, you know, you ring the bell, and it's all sort of weird, and it's kind of, it's for a girl from England, anyway. And in we go, and Susan Austin meets us, and she says, you're with me. Baby, you're with me, you're going to spend the night with me, because I know you're playing a madam, and I want you to see everything that madam does, so you're just going to spend the night with me. Taylor, you go off with Lance, have a drink, Helen's going to be with me. And so she just sort of swept me up. And I did indeed spend the whole night with her, just moving around, watching her, you know, do her business, do what she has to do.
What does she do?
She's a manager, she's a psychotherapist, she's a bank teller, she does everything. She does absolutely everything. She's a housekeeper. She's just constantly, you know, there's a lot of elements in a brothel. A lot of girls who were wonderful. I mean, they were so kind, they were sweet and incredibly friendly, and that was one of the things I was frightened of. I thought they'd be aggressive and you know, cross about having this stranger in their midst, kind of looking at them. But not at all. They were incredibly welcoming. And so she has to handle all of them, and you know, any problems that might come up where they're concerned. There's a lot of alcohol in a brothel. Obviously there's a bar, there's a restaurant, good food, but anyway, there's a bar, there's a lot of potential drunkenness. You know, there's a lot to handle. And there she was, just constantly on the move all night long, handling it. I mean, she was very, very impressive.
But, you know, the thing that I think is important is that in a brothel, as I said, it's a society of women. They service men, but it's a society of women. And the madam is in charge. And she has to be the tough mother. You know, she gives encouragement when she needs to, she listens to the problems, and when she needs to discipline, she does. And that's what Helen does in the piece. And Helen is, you know, she's much more of a nice, lovely person. And as a director, I was encouraging her to say, listen, when it gets tough, when you have to maintain order, you have to be tough as nails. Because those elements, Susan can be very, very sweet, but when she's got to protect her girls, or when someone's acting up, she takes care of it. And it's a fascinating, fascinating society.
But the thing I loved about it was that femaleness of it. It was like going into a weird sort of sorority, really. Maybe even nicer than a sorority, because these were working girls. They're working girls. They're professional people, and women, incidentally. And interesting fact is that the most successful prostitutes in a brothel are very often the older women, not the young ones. It's the older women. It's a lot to do with the fact that the clients are very often much older, so they're more comfortable with an older woman who they feel can take care of them, you know, both sexually and psychologically. So, and there was one lineup that we watched, and it was the older woman who was chosen by the client. So, you know, it's not, a lot of it is not as you expect.
Roll tape. Here's a clip.
Hey, Mr. Charlie.
Is it a good idea for people who are married to work together?
You know, we don't have the need to work together constantly. I mean, one of the things I love about my husband is that he gives me the freedom to work, and I certainly give him the freedom to work, to go off away from me and do whatever he has to do, and he gives me the freedom to go away from him and do whatever I have to do professionally. So, you know, it's great to have a relationship in our business where your partner gives you the freedom to do that, and also completely trusts you, you know, trusts you.
Love Ranch opens June 30th. Taylor Hackford, Helen Marin, thank you, my dear.
Thank you,
Great
John.
to see you.
Thank you.
Great to see you, too.
Great to see you, John.
Alan